We are live. She thought she was going to get a word in. We are live, folks. It is the Late Night Blues USA Late Night Live. Regardless, we are live, guys. It's freaking Everton, man. Quinn, say hi to the folks. I'm just going to smile for a second.
Hey, everyone. Happy to be here to celebrate not one good game, but two good games. Oh my
like
goodness.
5 good games. Oh.
That's true, but since the last time we spoke.
Yes, it has been a while since we last spoke, everybody. I gotta say, it's just dang, it is just good to be here. It is good to support Everton again. And honestly, it's all's good. Like, shoot, man. Okay. All right, I've just got off work. I've been home for about 10 minutes. I'm still in my work clothes, as you can see. Quinn is as well.
I am as well.
Right.
This is work clothes in the summer.
In the summer, yeah. It has just been a fantastic week. You know, looking past the Bournemouth FA Cup loss, it's been a fantastic week to support the Toffees. We can touch just first on the derby. Honestly, I haven't even had a chance to put together a plan for this show, but just touching on the derby, gosh, like, you know, I have to look back and think about the beginning of this season and preseason, and think about the kind of things we were being told to expect this season. Last season at Goodison, and all the emotion of that has been drained out of it. There was the games that we had over the first half of the season, just they weren't there. It felt like people just couldn't get over this blockage when it came to giving Goodison the send-off it deserved. Maybe if we played Liverpool at home first game of the season, it would have been different. But it's just this has just been an amazing revitalization, and that derby, that coming together of the fans for Goodison to have that final special moment was like, it was unreal. Quinn, how did you feel like watching that game?
Yeah, well, I actually was skiing during the game, so I turned off my phone, recorded the game on YouTube TV, stayed off all social media. So I watched it like probably 3 hours later, but it wasn't spoiled, which thank you to everyone who did not text me, because I could stay off social media, but didn't get any texts or WhatsApp messages. And it almost made me more nervous watching it after it had already happened, not knowing. But watching the build-up, I know we've talked about it, but just the game being rescheduled to being a night game felt like it actually gave the last derby at Goodison like a proper evening.
Yep.
And then all the build-up with, yeah, and gosh, I mean, I was almost in tears at the end of the game. I'm just like, a better ending would have been us winning the game in the 98th minute.
Yes,
but
exactly, yeah.
You almost couldn't write it. It was just so good. And yeah, it was just so good. All the emotions, the explosion, and I've heard so many people say it, and I totally agree. It was almost like roles were switched. Like Liverpool was playing the way that Everton typically plays, like in those derbies, which is just, I don't know. It was just a fun watch, entertaining. I mean, you're holding your breath throughout the entire, 5-ish minutes of added time. I know it ended up going 8, but 5 that they played.
Yeah.
And just when the ball bounces, I think there's like this split second where I'm like, it's hitting somebody in the head. Like it's gone, and it goes to the back of the net, and just, explosion.
Yeah.
Amazing.
I think it's really hard to put into words, but I agree. Having a night derby be the last Goodison derby, it gives it the poignancy. It gives it the platform it deserves. It allows the fans to really prep for the day, and to be there, and to be there in full force and in full voice. I watched the game with a friend, actually a few friends, at a bar right around the corner from my house. And I have so much emotion when I watch a derby. When I watch us play Liverpool, I have so much emotion. Like it's so nerve wracking. Like 9 times out of 10, like I am like terrified because I really believe that we can win. I always believe we can beat them. I will never not believe that we can beat them, Anfield or Goodison. I know we can because I think we are their bogey team and we just haven't realized it yet. But I know we can. I feel like we can beat them every time we play them. And the emotions of that game, Beto scoring, like, and I'm thinking he's offside. Like I was like, oh, he's offside, and the goal counted. And I'm like, oh my gosh, we're winning. Then we concede a few minutes later, and it's like, okay, that's just what happens in these games. How the rest of the first half went, how the second half went, Liverpool scoring really against the run of play because we had them. Honestly, we had them on toast most of that game. Exactly as Quinn said, they resorted to kicking us around and complaining about the referee and just not getting on with it. Yes, the referee was awful. Why they gave him this first game back after that Arsenal Wolverhampton game, he gave him probably like one of the biggest games of the season with one of the biggest atmospheres of the season. It was crazy. The guy, it's so funny because when I look at that refereeing performance, I'm just going to bring it up because he was bad for both sides. Nobody gained an advantage from him. Nobody gained an advantage from what he was doing. Like he was dishing out these yellow cards, but he dug himself a hole because he wasn't consistent with giving them. How did Luis Diaz didn't get a yellow card? I don't know. Like, and then he had no intention of ever sending anybody off. So he was giving out these yellow cards, and then people were committing more and more fouls. He's like, well, I don't want to send them off unless they give me no choice. So it's like, well, he's just digging a hole. That's why the players are upset with him. That's why Liverpool staff were upset with him because they all think that they didn't get what they deserved. And it's, like, whatever. He was bad for both sides, and that's just the way it is. It wasn't the right game for him to come back in. But just I was just my head was down on the bar. I was just despondent. I was hopeless. And then I just look up and we've scored. Like I'm literally about to walk out of this place at the final whistle. And I look up and Tarkovsky has rifled it into the corner of the net. And it's just like, I just started running. Like, I don't know, Quinn, if you've seen the video of from the park end of Pickford doing his knee slide after he scored. And then it turns around, the guy's just running. That's me. I was that guy. I was just like, oh my God. I just started running him in a direction, did a jump and turn around. And then I'm like, it's going to go to VAR. I was like, it's going to go to VAR. I know it is. And because I just remember vividly watching the replay and seeing where Decore came from. I knew that was the moment that we were going to look at because he came from this advanced position to head this ball on. I knew they couldn't take it away from us.
Could you have imagined that ground if that goal did not stand?
I think
there would be no more games at Goodison Park.
They would have ripped up the seats. They would have set it on fire. I think, gosh, yes, that was a very, very emotional game. But in itself was exactly what that game needed to be for the last Goodison derby. It needed to be full of emotion. It needed to be with a send-off for these fans. Yes, it was a draw. We get it. We don't need the celebration police telling us that. It's fine. You know what? If you can't support your team when they score a last-minute equalizer against their fierce rivals, and then the added impact of the last ever derby,
and the fact that Liverpool are
top of the league, top of Europe.
Yes.
This isn't some BS. This was not like we were playing Coventry or Norwich, and I'm not trying to diss those teams, but it wasn't a nothing game. Mm-hmm. This had so much emotion packed into it that honestly, when I see people make fun of us, I think, well, you just don't get it. I feel bad for whoever you support, man. You just don't get it. You don't have that love or emotion. It's
just, the celebration policing is just absolutely ridiculous of oh my goodness. I will say it was really interesting to watch the contrasting responses to that on Twitter all week of just I think that the general person was like, of course you'd celebrate. It's like
everybody else was just
goodness
bitter.
Gracious.
It was all bitter cop-outs,
Yes.
You got people it's just
who also act like it doesn't care, and your manager got a red card after the game. It's just like, oh yeah, but it doesn't matter. It's their cup final. We'll just walk away with nothing.
Right, exactly. Oh,
come on.
My gosh. It's so funny, isn't it? It's so funny the way that they have to try to cope so hard when we beat them or draw with them. They have to dig deep within themselves to find something to bring up to cope with. They cannot stand it. But that's what I
Yes.
mean when I say I think we're their bogey team and we haven't realized it yet. I I think we are their bogey team because they hate to lose to us more than anybody. More than anybody. Maybe the fans who don't live in Liverpool or don't have that close connection with the club and understand the ties between those clubs don't get it. But for the most part, they do not want to lose to us more than anybody. Or they don't want to draw. They want to beat us every time. And when they don't, it's excuse after excuse. It's copium to the max. They're drinking it as hard as they can, as quick as they can. They are chugging that coke back, man. And it's beautiful. I love those salty tears, man. Oh, and then, oh, man, just everything, that emotion, just watching that goal like 50 times within the first 30 minutes after the game, like just over and over watching it, just all the angles I can get, soaking up all that media that I can get because just finally we have this moment with this team this season to celebrate, to
I know.
have the joy, that pure passion and joy. I will watch that goal for years probably and enjoy the impact of that moment and the depth of that moment, knowing I have friends in those stands who are feeling that love and are probably almost brought to tears too, pushed together in that mob of people celebrating. I don't care if people get on the pitch. Let them get on the pitch. Excuse me, that curse. Let them get on the pitch. Dang it. They deserve it. Goodison deserves it. This is a special, special place. And on a night like that, I can't think of a stadium in the world that could beat it for the pure ferocity, for the pure passion and energy. You don't get that. You don't get that at Real Madrid, Atletico, Barcelona, Bayern, Juventus, anyone. You do not get that. Everton is something different, to me, but I'm biased, you know. And then after the game, Moyes coming out in his presser before Palace and saying, "Well, why wouldn't we want? Like, I want to talk Everton." He talks us up, man. That guy believes in this club and these players and these fans and this cause. That man believes. I'm so glad I was right that he should come back. I'm so glad. I'm so glad. I'm just because what my biggest fear that I sat on when we first brought him back and then we lost to Villa, I remember sitting back and just being like, man, it's going to be the like of all the embarrassing things that have happened to us since for over the past like decade, the most embarrassing would be Moyes coming back and us getting relegated. Right? Nothing would top. Of course, like getting relegated is the most embarrassing thing, but Moyes coming back and we're bringing back this guy and sacking somebody that everybody thought we shouldn't sack with the same manager. They're the same manager, bro. That's crazy. Oh, Quinn, final thoughts on the derby, please. Anything?
Oh, it's just good to see the joy. And I've said that after other games, but just the joy in the players
And the
and
players.
David Moyes. Like
David
just
Moyes.
seeing that man, I tweeted today after today's game, like just seeing him with a smile on his face, like wearing an Everton jacket is just like, it just feels right,
It feels right. It brings back such happy, happy like emotions. It
And
helps
it's
you.
like we started supporting the club with David Moyes.
Yeah,
Like we
exactly.
grew
Yeah,
up watching David Moyes' Everton. So it's like this
literally.
weird, crazy full circle moment. And yeah, ending uh games against Liverpool at Goodison Park that way was just great. So good. I loved the picture. Did you see the picture on the I didn't watch the video, but I think it's a still image from the like tunnel access of Bainsey and Beto like hugging. It's
I
just like
didn't.
the
I need
most
to watch that tunnel
precious
access video.
little just the most precious thing, and like he's just totally turned it around. I mean,
Yeah.
we can talk about Beto,
Yes. Well,
but
let's get to
golly.
Palace. Let's talk about Palace
Yes.
today because then we can start talking about these individual players that have started to shine under Moyes. Uh, this like again, 2-1 win today. We are like we are depleted as a squad. We've had the huge outpouring of energy and emotion on Wednesday, and to come back on Saturday and to keep it up for these players to come in, for Alcaraz to come in, for Harrison to come in and step up and say, We will fill the void. We will push and push, and we want this. Like, dude,
Mm-hmm.
I was so like, yes, there were parts of that game that were tough. There were parts where we made mistakes. You know,
Yeah.
I really don't want to continue to call out James Tarkowski for his defensive errors at times. But look, I'm going to look at that goal that we conceded, and I'm going to look at what happened where Tarkowski jumps on O'Brien's back to get the ball, and I'm like, come on. Like it's just it's just like these little things that are really frustrating that hurt us. But we won, so we can look past that. Honestly, we can look past that. Yes, Palace are a good side. Palace have good players. Palace probably should have taken the lead right before we took the lead. So like, no, I mean, not even probably. They should have. The fact that they just
Yeah.
smashed the crossbar was crazy. Like they totally should have taken the lead, and that might have been a totally different game. But that's not the way football works. You don't get to, it's no, you don't get anything for being close. And just it was just so good to see this team continue to fight and to not give up and to believe that it can go on and win and to believe that they are more than anybody tells them what they are. That belief that Moyes has instilled in this team shines in every game. It shines through every player that plays for him and on that pitch. Um, Standout performers for you
Today
today.
was great.
You watch the game?
I did watch the game, yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, was great. I mean, just playing to Beto's strengths has been great to watch. I mean, just it's night and day him playing under Moyes versus him under Deitch. Like I don't think there's a turnaround that has been consistent. I think Jack Harrison played really well today comparatively to games under Deitch. Not that he was a standout performer, but just his performances have changed. It was great to see Alcaraz today playing well.
Get a start.
Yeah.
Come out and do really well. Yeah, I mean, look,
his little interview after the game, or his little video is so cute.
That
I saw somebody quote it, and they were like, "Don't fall in love with the lone player. Don't fall in love with the lone player." And I'm like, I relate.
They should have just let him speak Spanish because the English was tough for him.
It was tough. It was tough. I thought Ashley Young made an instant impact coming on, which is good to see.
Yeah.
Lindstrom still, goodness gracious, trying to get his first goal.
He wants it so bad, doesn't he?
I know.
He really does. I feel for the guy, but you know what? He is again just like, I don't know. You look at these players, the same players that we're playing every week and I can't go back to Sean Deitch. I don't want to keep going back to him.
Yeah.
But you can't help but look at how in the doldrums we were, how bad we were.
In reality, with the same team, minus one player.
Minus one player, exactly.
Yeah.
With the same team. Like, I think I saw somebody say today, like, Sean Deitch probably will not get another job at this level. I don't, he will. Somebody said, and it might even be this season, but he will get another job at this level. It won't be an issue. It might not happen because between him leaving Burnley and us, it was probably like 2 years before he got the job with us. Like,
it's a big gap.
Yeah, like somebody will be desperate enough to bring him in. So that's not going to be an issue for Sean Deitch. But watching David Moyes, and you just look at people like Paul Merson and these other British pundits who are saying they're the same manager. What are Everton doing? They've opened the door to relegation, right? Like you just think like, guys, do you really even know football? Like, do you really even know what you're talking about right now? Because all 6 games in, 7 games in, we're looking at this team and being like, all they needed was some coaching. All they needed was some tactical instruction. All they needed was to be like it feels like every single player that has come out in an interview so far since Moises came in has said, like, we love the coaching. They sit there and talk to us, like, so what the hell were Sean Deitch and Ian Woan and staying before? Were they not talking to them? They were just open their office, like watching training from the balcony, and you're like, oh, that was a good goal. Let's start him. I just don't get it. Jake O'Brien playing fantastic. That great ball for Lindstrom down the channel, and that should have been a goal for Beto. Like, it's just different. Things are just different, and it's so good. And it's so good to have this connection with the club again, man. Like it's so good to see the fans have this connection with the club, to hear them in full voice for that match. When Alcaraz scored, to hear them silent, that silent Crystal Palace Stadium, and all you hear is Everton fans belting out every song they can, Spirit of the Blues, you know, all the other, I can't even think of names right now. It's just like, it is just so good to support Everton again. And I hope it continues on forever. But just like, man. So let's talk the goals. Let's talk our two goals, because I don't really care about Palace's goal. So the first goal really was kind of fortuitous. I don't know what that Tyreek Mitchell was thinking with the throw in, but just threw it right past his man. And Alcaraz is switched on, gets to it, and Beto just seems to score every game now. Maybe not with every touch, but he is just like on fire. Been
He's
awesome to
clinical.
see.
He's able to
Very,
put the ball in the back of the net, which I think so many people have said, like, I don't know if like Dom is putting those balls away. I don't think he's finishing them.
he just doesn't overthink it. He get literally, it feels like every single one of his finishes are like the same. He just takes it and he waits for the goalkeeper to commit, and he just kind of dinks it over him. He's just like, I'm gonna put it past you now. Just
and
literally
not going,
just,
no fancy, like nope, just get the ball in the back of the net.
yeah, he's like, it's every finish is like this, like he just dinks it. He literally is like, he doesn't pick a place in the net. He picks a place past the keeper, and that like serves him so well. It is like, I'm sure that's literally what the staff have told, coaches have told him, like, hey, don't worry about like where you put it in the net. Just make sure it gets in the net. Just get it past the keeper. And he's done it, and he's just continues to do it. Like I love this for Beto, man. I love the story of Beto. I love that he used to wear an Everton shirt. Like there's just things about these players in this team, and players that come to Everton in general, where they just have a connection, or the connection happens. Like this, like Alcaraz, man, like goal and assist today. Like I know Beto got man of the match, well deserved, because the guy works his freaking butt off every week. He's improved so much, and watching him improve in real time as a striker is just, it's a joy. It's magical. It is really magical to watch these players not even redeem themselves. I'm not going to hold them to account for what was happening at the beginning of the season, because they didn't have the support they needed. Not redeem themselves, but show everybody who they are and what they actually can do. To show these other teams, and to show these pundits, and to show these other fans that want to sit there and saying, how do you watch us every week? Well, we win. What do you want to say now? Like we went, like, yes, we weren't before. We've already gotten more wins from Moyes in the Premier League than we did under Deitch this season. Like it's just like, it's just good. And the second goal, man, just good play. Like the fact that we could have very easily, once Palace scored early in the second half, we could have collapsed. And honestly, under Sean Deitch, we probably would have. Excuse me. We probably would have collapsed. We would have conceded that. Heads would have gone. They would have scored another a couple minutes later, and then that would have been it. But we didn't. We kept to it. Yes, they brought on Eze. They brought on their players. They brought in Adam Wharton. They brought on their best players. They brought on their big guns, and we stood up and were counted and said, no, we're going to deal with you. Yes, Eze got some good shots in. Yes, they passed the ball around well, but we figured it out. We got that second goal, which was a great goal. Holy cow. Jack Harrison to the back post. You see the value of O'Brien heading a ball down, which probably would have been a penalty if we didn't score, honestly, because it went right off Choa's arm, like extended out like that. Like it probably would have been a penalty. Ashley Young just smashes it. It falls to Alcaraz, and it's just a good, cool first time finish, just into the corner before the keeper can get set. Like it's just good right now, man.
Really good.
I wish I had some tactical analysis to bring, but I don't, because it's just good right now to support Everton. You don't need to be to analyze anything tactically, because you can just enjoy it. Enjoy the emotion of having a manager who loves this club, who cares about the success and the well-being of this club. That matters. When the summer comes and he has money to spend, he's not going to go out there and spend 40 million pounds on a Sigurdsson or whoever, Yeah. We might have we might make a statement signing. I would, who knows where that comes from or what it is, whether it's a Liam Delap, whether DCL stays. I don't know. There's a lot of questions.
Liam Delap.
It would be nice. I mean, but gosh, Beto's our first choice striker right now, so I don't know what we need. Honestly, Liam Delap would be really nice. I'd really enjoy him at Everton. But yeah, it's just good. Things are just good. Just good to watch us win again. We go again. We have United next, right?
Yep.
easy. I shouldn't say it's easy because they tend to be a team that we struggle against. But I believe, and I think Moyes will want to beat United with Everton. I think he'll be like, and the crowd's going to be up. The Everton, the Goodison's going to be up for it. Like, I can't wait. It's. When's the last time you could say I can't wait to watch Everton?
I mean, after the last few months, it's probably been like 3 years.
Years, literally years.
Yeah.
When Ancelotti was there, probably. And
there were a few games under Frank where it was like the beginning, where there was still a little excitement before you hit like the break. Right. But
man, he's doing pretty well at Coventry right now. But
he is, which is great to see. Just not a Premier League manager at the moment.
No.
Anyway,
yeah,
years. It's been years. It's been years.
It's been years, and now we're at this point where we can look forward to Everton playing again. We can look forward to having these weekends where they show up, and even if we lose, like we did against Bournemouth, like we did against Villa, we sit back and we can look and be like, okay, this is not the do or die that it was at the beginning of January into December when we're 17 points, right, 1 point, in front of the relegation zone. Now we're 13 points ahead of the relegation zone. We have exploded as a team. We're above United, we're above West Ham. We're on level on points with Palace. We're 4 points behind like 9th place right now. We're 9 points off Europe.
It's crazy.
I know, wild. It's crazy. So much could still happen this season. I mean, if we continue with this form, we shouldn't talk about Europe. We can't really talk about Europe in a real way right now. Because
but you look at this team who didn't score any goals, who scored so many goals since David Moyes came in, picked up so many points. I mean, we're joint top of the league since top of the league in points since Moyes came in, and it's just night and day with, again, the same squad where it's like, yeah, maybe talking about Europe this season is ridiculous, but it shows that this squad, though we've said for years, is like so not good enough. It's not good enough, but we've always said nobody has gotten the most out of these players.
Seriously.
And you're looking at David Moyes, who does it.
Yeah. And look, like this squad is like injury ridden right now. Like we have so many players missing, including very, very important players who might very well be starting if they were fit, like McNeil, definitely in die.
Yeah.
Dominic Calvert-Lewin, Mangala, if he was still around. Like we have these pieces that aren't available, and we're still thriving because David Moyes looks at his players and says, I believe in you. You follow the instructions we give you and stick to the game plan. We will win. We will get the result we need. And these players listen and they respect him. They respect him. I struggle to believe they respect the Sean Dyche based off the way this has gone. I really struggle to believe that. And I think some of the stories we've had come out over his tenure kind of call to that, honestly. I
think how do you respect a manager who openly talks about how poor you are?
Yes, exactly. And even David Moyes today said, I don't think we were that great. Like he literally said, like, we could have been better. Mm-hmm. I love that. Tell them that we won. Yeah, we could have been better though. Like we didn't play. Like I agree.
Yeah, and there's a difference in how you communicate. Like, hey, they didn't play well today. It's like, I mean, Turkey, sure, we're not going to sit and rag on him, but like David Moyes said after the Liverpool game, like, yeah, it probably was good for him after not playing great this past weekend, but it's different than saying like, this squad sucks and I can't get anything out of them.
I mean, I wonder if Sean Dyche was the kind of manager who would tell the players in the locker room, in the dressing room, like, hey, don't worry, guys. Like, you played well. Like, we'll get better. And then he goes to the meetings like, oh, they were awful. It's I wonder if there was just some weird disconnect there because I just I don't understand. I just don't understand his philosophy. It's weird that he was here now. When I look back, I appreciate the fact that we stayed up. It is what it is. It's just good now. I think I've said that about like 10 times this podcast, but it's good now. It's just good. It's just things are just good again with Everton, man. So who was your player of the match today?
Beto was my player.
It was Beto?
Yeah.
Yeah. I say Alcaraz personally because he was directly involved. He scored a goal and assisted a goal. But I do understand why, and I think Beto has wanted a player of the match. But look, he won player of the match, and he put it on his Instagram story like first thing. Like he was just so happy. Like the guy, like somebody did a thread about Beto on Twitter tonight, and it was about his time with some academy or some youth team in Portugal, and the coaches were talking about him, and the coach was like, a lot of these players that he grew up with continue to support him, and a lot of them are like living the dream through him vicariously. They're seeing him perform at the Premier League level. Like the story that the whole thread was about was how the coach told Beto to go fill up water bottles before the match, right? And then, obviously he starts to establish himself as a good player. He's starting every week for this youth team at 16 years old, and they're like, why is he always going missing before the match is about to start? And it's because he was continuing to go fill up the water bottles. It was a mindset thing. He was told to do this. He's going to go be the best at this. He's going to go fill up those water bottles and get himself on the pitch. Like, I think when you find a player that is willing to not only work to improve themselves, but cares and shows up every week and wants to do things the right way and wants to be the best, like strives to be the best, that mindset carries players really far. That is a determined, admirable mindset, and the kind of player you need and want in a team, because that's infectious. That spreads to everybody. When you see
Yeah.
a player want to be better, everybody wants to be better to match that, because these are professional footballers. They have pride. They want to be good, and you see your striker going out and throwing himself for headers and making runs in the 90th minute to hold the ball up and keep it in the corner, and like, it's good. It's good.
It's good.
Yeah, and Alcaraz I thought was very, very good today. It's going to take him some time to get up to grips with the Premier League for real. Um, but you can't beat a goal and assist on your first start for the club. Like, you really can't beat that. Like, and it's just good to see. It's just good.
I know, man. The amount of times the word "good" has been used is
Just
just
call this a
so good.
just good Toffees podcast, because that's what we are right now. Things are just good.
Yes.
Oh well. Any closing thoughts on Palace?
Good to walk out of there with 3 points.
Good again. Good to walk.
Good.
Yeah, 3 points deserved. I mean, well, I don't know if I'd say deserved. I really think we were pretty lucky today with a lot of things. Honestly, I think Palace are pretty wasteful.
I think there were definitely moments where when they equalized, I thought, yeah, they're gonna nick this game.
Yeah,
I don't think
the same.
So
Yeah.
it's great. It was great to walk out with 3 points.
It definitely felt like one of those games that it's kind of a surprise we won, considering the circumstances after the derby. Very important players injured, Decore out, etc. Hey, oh my gosh, that's the first game we won without Decore in like 3 years.
Yeah.
I just remembered that. Oh my gosh. David Moyes is a genius.
There is, in fact, life without Decore.
I just remembered that.
Yeah.
That is it. I don't think I saw anybody say that. The first game we won without Decore since when? Like 2022?
2022. I have seen somebody did tweet. I think it was 2022.
Crazy.
Super
David
wild.
Moyes, bro. David Moyes.
Yes.
Yeah,
David
Welcome
Moyes.
back, Davey Boys. He has red hair. We don't care. Davey Boys. Man, okay. Well, you got a couple questions, and then we'll wrap this show up, because she has to catch flight very early. So this one's really interesting. It's from our good friend Urban Koeman. We know the guy. We love him. Who starts against Manchester United, Decore or Alcaraz?
I think Decore starts only because of fitness and time in the league, obviously. So,
well, the game's not till next weekend, right?
Yeah, the game's next weekend. I still just.
Yeah, I agree. Yep, I think he still keeps his place, comes back in. It'll be tough on Alcaraz, considering he did everything he could to try to change Moyes' mind.
Yeah,
but
I think too, it's like his hand was forced to put him in to start in some ways. So
it was forced, but then Alcaraz came out and said, "I'm going to take my opportunity," and he scored the winner and assisted the first goal. I mean, Moyes will have a little bit of a selection headache, but I do agree that Decore will probably start against United. And then just next switch from Urban, would you sign Lindstrom on a permanent? Look, I think it just depends on the fee. I don't think I'd pay maybe more than 15 million for him right now. I love his work ethic. I love his ability to track back. I love his stamina and his tenaciousness. Uh, I don't know how much he really offers going forward currently, so I'm on the fence with him. I think if it happened, I would want to make sure we don't spend 20 million on him.
Yeah, I feel similar. I don't think at this point worth big money.
Yep.
I also don't think David Moyes will spend big money
No?
on
Oh.
him. I do
Oh,
not.
on him.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Anyway.
Yeah. Yep. I mean, he fits the profile of the kind of players we're looking for. He's still a young guy, still learning. I mean, it's going to help that he's been with the team for the season. So it very well might happen that he gets signed, but you just gotta. It would have to be for a fairly innocuous fee, 10 to 15 million. Anything more than that, and I think you'd be spending a little bit too much. Next two questions. So Beto has started to show that Moyes can get strikers scoring. When Dominic Calvert-Lewin comes back, will this new style we play benefit him? And who starts if they're both fit? Quinn, you got that one first.
First time seeing it. I would say I think. I mean, I don't. Dom's not coming back for a few weeks potentially at this point. So I think if Beto continues scoring, he keeps his spot. I don't see it changing. Will this new style benefit Dom? I think it would be. I think it depends on who's playing. Is McNeil back? It really is.
Back, yeah.
Yeah. Is the rest of the team fit? So ultimately, I think Dom's probably on his way out, and Beto will keep the starting place. Dom will be off the bench, and we'll see. I mean, we'll see if he takes his chances when he's on for 10, 15 minutes at the end of the game. Then maybe, but I just don't see Beto losing his spot if he keeps scoring, and with Dom's contract being up at the end of the year. I think we've made a forcefully. It's been a forced transition, but it's worked out in the timing and with David Moyes. So
yeah. I think personally that Beto is more of a David Moyes striker, anyways. In terms of running in behind, in terms of being a player who can finish, and then just kind of having just a bit of like awkwardness about him. I think Moyes seems to really like a striker who's not the most polished, but he will take instruction and work his butt off and run himself into the ground. So I think we've really struck a winning formula with Beto, and the way we're playing to his strengths and how he's taking to that. Definitely, if he continues to score, I don't think there's any reason he should be dropped. Doesn't really matter for who because he's scoring every week. And his hold up play and his overall play is getting just a little bit better every week. It's slow progress, but you can see he's putting in the work. You can see he's starting to look more like a more well-rounded footballer. It's gradual improvements with him. I think he's 26, 27. He's still got time to be better. And yeah, unless Calvert-Lewin wants to turn around and kind of change his mind and say, oh, you know what, I might want to sign a new contract. I think he should be taken to the bench regardless. And sent along his way with good graces. As far as the style of play, I don't know. Calvert-Lewin isn't really the kind of striker to run in behind anymore. It feels like he's definitely more of a target man, wants to hold up the ball. So I would say it suits Beto much more than it suits Calvert-Lewin. But that I think the issue is that the difference is that like we don't really need to have one style of play, and I don't think Moyes adheres to one style of play. It's going to be what we need in the circumstance. So if we need a target man, and if we know we need to hold up the ball, we're going to have more of it, then we're going to bring in Dominic Calvert-Lewin. If we know we might be playing on the counter, have left of the ball, and need to be playing balls into the channel behind, we'll play Beto. So it'll just depend on circumstance more than anything. And I think that's what we have the benefit of having in Moyes is a flexible, tactically aware, does his homework manager who also just happens to love the club and have a great affinity for the club. And that is a great marriage because that means he's going to be really detail oriented, as you can tell in the way we've played so far. And this one, look, we're just bringing up that word again. How good does it feel to have the proper Everton back?
Gosh, it feels good.
Feels good, man.
It feels so
it
good.
Feels so good. Like, I don't know. I can't sit here and like put things into words too much, but it's like you think of all the, and this is something I wanted to do and I thought about a lot at work. didn't have the time to do because it was a busy night. You think of all the crap we've put up with, all the crap, all the things on and off the pitch. I'm talking about Bournemouth coming back from 2-0 down to win 3-2. You could go back to Newcastle coming back from 2-0 down to draw 2-2 from like the 91st minute, scoring 2 goals. You can go and look at Josh King scoring a hat trick at Goodison. You know, you can go and it just feels like I don't have enough time to sit here and cherry pick all the little things that have happened that has just been like can it get any worse for this club? Like, geez, you've got Moshiri, like fake impersonator going on to TalkSport. You know, like you've got Bill Kinwright saying, "Oh, we've had some good times." Like, God rest him, Bill. Like, we have put up with so much crap and so much failure and stuck by this team and this club through all of it.
We have
all of it.
Yeah.
Away fans never stop going. People never stop going to Goodison. They continue to go and to believe. So when you look and you sit there and you think about having the proper Everton back, what that really means is that people can love this club again, man. People just have this chance to look at this club that they've grown up supporting. And I continue to go back to these people who've been sitting in the same seats in Goodison for decades and who have seen us win things and have seen hard times and are now, and this has probably been some of the hardest times they've seen, you know, considering how old they, you know, depending how old they are. Like, this was tough. This was 5, 6, 7 years of being in the bottom half wilderness of the Premier League, of flirting with relegation, of not only flirting with relegation, but flirting with administration, flirting with disaster, with this club not existing anymore. That was a possibility for this team for a number of years. This club could have gone away to League One, to League Two, to true wilderness of football in England. And here we are. And we have a chance. We have this manager. We have these players. And we can fall in love again with this team and look forward instead of over our shoulder. That's what that means to have proper Everton back. Is to just have some hope, damn it. To not go into every game feeling like we're going to watch some BS. And to not go into every game and feel like we don't have a chance and that something embarrassing is going to happen. Something still embarrassing might happen. Whatever. This is still Everton we're talking about. But it's just good to feel good.
Yeah, it is. Yes, it is.
Toffees, man. The Toffees. We got a comment. Who's commenting? We are back, baby. Yes, Tom. Yes, Tom. Up the Toffees. Yes, Everton. Love them. Yes, we are back, baby. We are so back in the midst of the I can't do this. I found, oh, we're back. Everton. Oh, freaking Everton. All right, folks, if there's no more questions, we're going to call it tonight. Quinn has, we will not lose again. Pablo, I hope so, man. I hope we don't lose again, bro. I could say it feels like that, doesn't it? It feels like we're not going to lose again. It feels like that nothing can stop us right now. We are like just unstoppable. I really wish we beat Bournemouth in the cup. I won't lie, because I think if we did that, we probably would have gone on and won it. Just with the way this team is, but it's fine. Not the season for it. We get through. We stay up. Try to finish top half, because I reckon that's going to be what Moyes is going to set the team's goal to be, is finish top half right now. They have so many winnable games this season. There's every game is really winnable. Maybe the Anfield Derby is one that we couldn't win, but the way the team is playing, with the way it feels right now, every game we could win. It feels that way. So, Pablo, Europe calling. Who knows, man? So who knows? It's just, we'll have to see. Yes, Tom, you'd be hard pressed to find more passionate American Evertonians. I won't lie. We very much love this club. It has been a big part of our lives for well over a decade now. We go over constantly. The emotion and the passion that we have for this club. It's injected
in our veins.
We've got it. Yeah. It's Everton. You know, once Everton has touched you, nothing will ever be the same. I think that really that stands very true for Quinn and I, for sure. It's kind of crazy. Like this is my room. This is my Everton, my scarves and my flag. Like I have I have St. Rupert's. I have Neil Sadis on my arm. Like this is much more than just a soccer team to me. This is camaraderie and companionship. This is passion. It's good. Closer to fifth place in the bottom three. Yeah, crazy season, man. Who knows what'll happen?
Wild.
But all right, folks, we're gonna sign off now. I'm gonna let Quinn get to bed. Thank you so much for listening and joining us tonight. It's a short show, probably our shortest one yet. We appreciate everything. Appreciate the comments, and we'll continue to be passionate about this beautiful club. Up the Toffees.
Yes. Up the top,
up the 3 points, boys. Freaking Toffees, boy. Love it. I love it.